we will see how we can partner with you to promote policies that are good. But when policies are now coming on in the eyes of too much storms in the face of the people, storming the economy, shuttling agriculture, stopping transportation, left, right, and center, with our constituents crying out, then of course we are under moral obligation to seek clarifications from you, to hear from you. So some of the critical questions I would like to allow you answer, which are very natural. And if you have been able to answer that questions, that will definitely summarize most of the issues that will come up from my respected colleagues. Yes, by the CBN Act, the governor has the power to redesign Naira or recall is not. Yes, it's your singular power, and we must help you protect that power and do it in the interest of Nigerian people. We but however, one of the burning questions is that, yes, we agreed you have the powers. Yes, you are protected by the law to redesign Nigerian Naira. Why this time? Why this time? This time because you cannot rule out this contemplation that when you are facing, when you are facing a general election, less than 30 days to election, you bring up a matter of this nature. Definitely people will ask questions. So these are some of the critical questions we would like you to address. And we also expect that while you are answering your questions, you must give cognizance to the provision of the very relevant law of the CBN Act, which is Section 20, subsection 3. So, my distinguished ladies and gentlemen, my respected colleagues, members, the CBN Governor, I would like to yield the floor to you to possibly address some of these questions. I believe members will also be very curious to hear from you why you were not able to attend our first and second invitation. Please. Thank you.
On the two occasions that invitations had been extended to us, but first let me apologize for my inability to be here. It was not intended to undermine your work, undermine the committee, neither is it intended to undermine the hallowed chambers of the House of Representatives. Unfortunately, I was out of the country on these two occasions, either when I was on my official vacation, or the last one being when I was member of the presidential delegation to the Dakar 2 summit at Dakar, Senegal. Those were the reasons. But of course, before then, I think when this same issue, coupled with the issue of the withdrawal, is it limit and all that came up at the plenary, we sent our representatives, chaired or led by our Deputy Governor, Mr. Aisha Ahmad. You are all aware that currency management is a key function of the Central Bank of Nigeria, as enshrined in Section 2, subsection B of the CBN Act 2007. And indeed, the integrity of a local legal tender, the efficiency of its supply, as well as its efficacy in the conduct of monetary policy are some of the hallmarks of a great central bank. And we have done our best working and with your support and your cooperation to make sure that we do our work. And today I think I must continue to give credit to our colleagues at the Central Bank of Nigeria for the excellent job that they have been doing, even trying to make sure that the Central Bank of Nigeria remains one of the most respected central banks in the world today. Now, besides the general practice across the globe, and that practice is that every 5 to 8 years, a central bank is supposed to redesign or give some form of changes to its currency. The reason is because the central bank has to be in a position from time to time to have firm control of money supply in the country. Unfortunately, we have not had the luxury of carrying out this important aspect of our mandate in the last almost 19 years. 19 years. To the extent that I'd like to say this. In 2015, currency in circulation was 1.4 trillion naira. October 2022, currency in circulation had risen to 3.23 trillion naira, more than double in 7 years. Very, very unfortunate that it more than doubled in 7 years. Out of the 3.23 trillion naira, more than 2.7 trillion naira were outside the banking system. More than 2.7 trillion naira is held in people's homes. What that does is that it makes our mandate of monetary policy very difficult. When we are not in control, out of 3.23 trillion, what we see only in the banking system is just about 500 billion. There is no how our work, which you, the lawmakers, has made a law for us to carry out. Our work cannot be effective. And that is the reason, and permit me, I will continue to say, and thank the President, that in 19 years, we've had an opportunity to carry out this important aspect of our mandate. We are grateful because we are grateful to him because he listened. After we provided him all the needed explanations about what we are going through, or what we've been going through in the Monetary Policy Committee about conducting monetary policy, our work effectively. Now, the President graciously gave approval on October 6, 2022. And we had expected that by around December 15, the currency would begin to circulate. But we were lucky that we moved forward the circulation, and it started in November when the President launched the currency. And since then, the central bank has taken a number of actions to make sure that this currency circulates as new as it is. And let me say that so far, out of the 2.7 trillion, we have so far collected about 1.9, leaving between 900 billion and 1 trillion still outside. So I will say that we have received the cooperation of Nigerians to the extent that yesterday we can say we have, either in CBN vaults, in the vaults of the banks, about 1.9 trillion, and we are happy that Nigerians are responding positively towards making sure that we are able to conduct this important aspect of our mandate, and we are able to do our work the way we are supposed to do it. But it's important for me to let Nigerians know, through you, what actions that we are taking to make sure that this is a hitch-free implementation program. We held several meetings with the deposit money banks and provided them with guidance notes on processes they must adopt in the collection of old notes and the distribution of new notes. These include specific directives to the banks to load the new notes into the automated teller machines, the ATM, nationwide, to ensure an equitable and transparent mechanism for the distribution of the new notes to all Nigerians. We wanted to be sure that as the currency is coming out and is being given to the banks, issued to the banks, that the banks must go through a process that is equitable and transparent. We're saying we don't want the banks or customers to go and banks treat some as priority and some as less important. But when they go to the counters, what you will find is that depending on the large size of business that you give to the bank, they may decide to give you 1 million naira over the counter, but me, because I give them lower or less business, maybe they give me just 20,000 and all that. We said, no. Banks, as we are issuing you with this currency, load these monies into your ATM. Ladies and gentlemen, the ATM is a robot. You just give it a command, and you say the maximum anybody can collect is whether it's 20,000 or whether it's 40,000. That's what everybody collects, whether you are a priority or not a priority customer. That is the reasoning behind this decision. Everybody go to the ATMs. And of course, they've been loading those monies into the ATMs. Unfortunately, and indeed, I addressed the bankers on Sunday. And I expressed to them my disappointment, and in fact, disappointment of the president, disappointment of leaders in the country about the way this has gone on. Because many of us have unfortunately seen the new Naira, instead of being used for the purpose it's meant, the new Naira is being used in parties, in celebrations. And some of them said, well, maybe it's money from the ATM. I said, no. Money from the ATMs are already broken. They are in leaflets. But what we saw being stamped on people at parties were packets of the new Naira notes, which means that they had breached certain aspects of the guidance notes we gave to them. And I told them, and indeed, when I met President Buhari, I told him that even the previous day, had met with the FCC, ICPC, and the NFIU, and that we're now going to bring the EFCC, ICPC, NFIU to join us in monitoring the flow of this currency to our people. And I must say that I'm even very delighted. Only yesterday again, I even read that the DSS themselves have even started, which is what we want. So that everybody knows that we're conducting this activity to the best of our abilities. We're doing this for the good of Nigerians. We're doing this so the Nigerian economy can be better than it is today. And I am saying that we are beginning to see some of the benefits. Like I said, inflation last month somewhat trended, at least it's not rising, it's not stagnating, it's somewhat moderating. And we're thinking and expecting that they will continue to moderate. Exchange rate will stay relatively stable. And what we're even hoping with this exercise, that Naira can even get stronger. With this exercise, we have seen that with this, we're able to support the activities of our security agencies. And I'm happy, and I'm sure we all know, or some of us know, that the incidence of banditry and ransom taking are somewhat at least reduced at this time. Just making the job of security agencies more effective. So what we're saying is that what we have done here is for the good of Nigeria. It's for the good of Nigerians. We know in the process that some will be hurt, I would say temporarily, albeit temporarily. But it's a pain that I want to appeal to all of us to please show some understanding. Because the overriding benefit to Nigeria and to Nigerians is what we're interested in, which is about making our economy stronger and then combating the high incidence of insecurity in our land. Another action we took was that we commenced a nationwide sensitization through print and electronic media to create an awareness on the redesigned notes to Nigerians, including collaboration with the National Orientation Agency to reach all Nigerians across multiple channels. Third, like some of us may have known, in an attempt to ensure that we achieve a higher rate of financial inclusion, we increase the rate of the banks. Now, we today have 1.5 million super agents. These are like people who are acting as banks but they are not banks as such, in the sense that they don't have vaults, but there are people who have kiosks. They sell pepper, or they sell sweet, or they sell corner nuts, or they're in some form of shops, or they're in some form of restaurant. We made them our agents. So what does that mean? 1.5 million of them in different parts of this country. You don't have to be a bank with a banking license to do this. We brought them in. Out of this 1.5 million super agents that are agent bankers, where you can, before now, in your various localities, whether it's in your village, in my village, we have people who have POS, who have some form of shops, and you go there, you want to draw money, and then you take money or even pay money into your bank account through them. To open an account with them, you don't need all the rigors. They are called what we call, is it tier 3? Tier 3 banks. All you need is your name and your BVN and your phone number. You have an account. Very seamlessly. That's what we have done. Now, what am I saying? Out of these 1.5 million people, or agents, we specially deployed 30,000 of them. 30,000. And what do? We told them, through your banks and through our central bank officials, you collect some sum of money on a daily basis. And what do? You go back to where you are selling your sweet, where you are selling your kola nut. Do cash swap or cash exchange with Nigerians. Say, for now, maximum 10,000. The reports that we get is that, and because we have to work with data, majority, I'm talking close to about 80 to 90% of the people are just content with accepting 10,000 and below, because that's what they have in those villages. We may have a few who may have more than 10,000 naira. Please just, if you can indulge me a little. Who may have more than 10,000, and we say if they go back again and again, they will be able to enjoy this benefit. 4, we deployed all our staff. We effectively shut down Abuja, shut down Lagos. All staff, go to your locality, not just your state, not just your local, go to your locality. We are lucky that we have, in Central Bank, there's hardly anybody who says that in his locality there's nobody working in Central Bank. All over the 36s of the country. Those people, I doff my heart for them. They've left their job in the last 3.5 weeks. They have been in the villages, in the localities. They take cash, even when the banks are a little bit lackadaisical about it. They take cash from the CBN, maybe take like 5 million. They go to those localities and do cash exchange for everybody. At the end of the day, they bring back old notes, 5 million naira, and they lodge it back in the CBN, just to make sure that even when you don't have an account, you can exchange this money. That's what we have done, ladies and gentlemen. Now, yes, like I said, we saw a few failing on the part of the banks, and we appealed to EFCC, appealed to ICPC, appealed to NFIU. They are currently even working with our CBN officials now, nationwide, to make sure that this process goes on seamlessly. We are happy that I said earlier, so far, the exercise has achieved a success of over 75% in our villages and the rest of them. So, it is on the basis of that, we saw that there were a few complaints here and there, particularly those in the villages. And that was why we said, okay, we now give a 10-day extension for the currency to have, for more and more of this to be collected, and then we'll make more disbursements. But I want to make my last comment, subject to the content of the CBN Act Section 20, subsection 3, which says, even after the old currency has lost its legal tender status, that we are mandated to collect those monies. And I stand with the House of Representatives on this. What does that mean? You would have lost its legal tender status, in which case we have moved on, but you have your money that you have not been able to send into the bank. We certainly will give you the opportunity to bring them back into the CBN, redeem it. Either you pay it in your bank account or you want to do exchange, we give you. You will not lose your money. That is the assurance I give to Nigeria. I want to appeal This is not an easy exercise. It is not an easy exercise, but we are happy that in 19 years, we are able to carry out this important aspect of our mandate. We are grateful that we are doing this. We want to do it, but we seek the support and cooperation of everybody. Support of Nigerians, cooperation of Nigerians. At these initial stages, there will be a few hitches, there will be a few glitches. We apologize, but I'm trying to say this. The overriding interest is the Nigerian economy. Make Nigerian economy stronger. Make Nigerian economy better. Because that is what we owe Nigerians in the position that God has put us today. And I would like to continue to seek your support that we please allow this program to succeed. Thank you very much, Chairman.